And it was actually my dad who took me to where Jesus was in an angelic form. And then when I reached there, Christ told me to kneel down. And when I knelt down, I put my hands just like how I'm doing them now. He dug deep, deep into my hands, almost like he submerged his hands in. And then he opened up a part of my head, and he said, "I've given you the brain of a prophet, and I've put my hands in your hands. Go and serve my kingdom." And in an instant, I was dropped back onto earth. So I left. By the time I got the revelation, it was like, I think 3. So by the time I came out, I realized that I had come back. It was, I think, close to 7. So it was becoming dark. And that was when I knew that I think I've got something, kind of special that's just not like any other thing. So that's when I was like, wow, now things are getting for real. But still, I didn't submit there and then because I had a lot that, I was dealing with at that time. Sometimes we get stressed. And because of that stress, because of what we are going through, you don't have that faith to push on. The world is throwing this and that to you. This is happening, that's happening, all sorts of things are going on. So you don't really have the courage to go on. So that's what happened. And then I eventually, just kind of disregarded the whole thing. I shared a bit of it with my mom, and she's like, if that's what God has said, then move on with it. But I was hesitant until eventually everything that I was doing by then started stalling. And I started getting very terrible dreams at night and very terrible, visions. I would see myself laying on the ground almost like I'm going to die. And the Lord I kept on hearing a voice, you have to serve me, you have to serve me. So eventually I fully submitted myself to ministry. And when we began to grow. I began to have so much peace in my life, and the Lord's been using me ever since.
Wow, what an extraordinary story and journey. Just like a lot of people anyway, especially when we are young and we're called, we need to be hesitant to answer that call, especially
Very
when
true.
when there's peer pressure, and then social circumstances, and then life as well will come in. So and then cultural, and then people, and then family, a lot of things, economic, and all of that will come in, and we don't want to succumb. So having said that, what are the benefits of accepting God's calling upon our lives? Because there has to be a benefit. Um, I know some people, God will call them and they won't take it up. They wouldn't even, they know God is calling them, but for one reason or the other, sometimes out of their control, they would say they won't answer that call. But how do we actually recognize that God is calling us for a particular purpose?
Okay, so that's true. What you've said is very true. So let me tell you, a lot of times, the worst thing to go through in this world is to live your entire life on the wrong path.